Alright folks, welcome back to the workshop. Today we are going to start doing a bucket project, and you know what that means, it's epoxy time. And I'm not just going to chuck a load of random pieces of wood in here. I want to do a Mosaic cake stand, because someone's ordered a cake stand and they told me to go crazy, get creative. So that's what we're going to do. I'm kind of thinking like a shuriken star in the center with layers of different coloured woods filling up the rest of the space. Is it going to look good? I don't know. You'll have to wait till the end of the video to find out. Let's have a look. Okay, here are the woods I'm going to use. We have got some 50-year-old parquet flooring, and these are Brazilian hardwoods that you can't get anymore. And they are in 2 or 3 different shades of brown, stroke yellow, stroke orange, stroke all sorts. And we've got some Brazilian tulip wood, which is a beautiful sort of pinky coloured wood, fantastic grain. We've got some 7,000-year-old Fenland bog oak, and for the star in the middle, some super dry, beautiful English ash. So all we've got to do, well, the first job is we've got to take this piece and turn it into a circle, and then we're going to cut out our shuriken star on the bandsaw as accurately as possible. So let's get on with it. Alrighty, so I've just turned that up to, sanded that up to 100 grit, and I reckon that's going to do nicely as our centerpiece. So all I've got to do, mark out our shuriken star on this, take it over to the bandsaw and cut it out. I was going for shuriken star and I ended up with the Star of David. I'm going to try another design on the back and see which one I like the best. So we've got this one, or this one. I'm going to try and cut that one out accurately and hope it doesn't look shit. Pretty cool. Alrighty, so I'll cut these bits out So now I've labelled them up so I know which one goes where. We've got the choice. Do we want them like this? Because that is really cool and does look sort of like a flower. I like that a lot, actually. What do you think? Leave your answer in the comments now! Or the other option or made out of little blocks. But you get the idea, right? I could space it like that. Alrighty then. In my bucket I have got these. I've got these. And I've got about 1 million tiny little squares. They all need sanding. The level of finish on this is going to be absolutely immaculate because it's going to go to someone who wants it to be absolutely immaculate. So that's going to happen. So my life for the next 2 or 3 hours is going to be sanding tiny squares. So to that end, I have made this fantastic block. It should make life a little bit easier. Right folks, what you're looking at there is about 200 tiny little pieces of wood. They're about 1 inch tall, a little over 1/4 of an inch square. It's all slightly different sizes because they're all cut by hand and all sanded by hand. That took me hours and hours and hours. And if you look over here, I think that might be the design I'm going for with this one. Maybe. We will see come tomorrow. Bam! It's tomorrow. And look what I have done. I actually did this last night when I stopped filming. Yeah, lots of little tiny squares. It doesn't look too bad. Obviously there's a few gaps here and there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my patent pending technique of packing it full of sawdust and then epoxying it. You see around the edge I've actually got a wall of 3 layers of those blocks. The bottom layer, which is going to become the top layer because this is upside down, has actually got all 3 different woods in it. So I think that looks pretty cool, and now we're going to put some sawdust in it, some epoxy in it. But dilemma, do I turn the base first or do I just put a big block in there? Not quite worked that out yet. Let's find out. It looks like sand, but it's not. It's sawdust out of the bandsaw, and it's going to go in all those little voids. Now, I'm not going to film this because I need to do it carefully, so see you in a moment. Well, that looks a bit different, doesn't it? That is now, all the voids and gaps are now full of sawdust, which is all multicoloured and looks a bit like sand. But I'm going to go with black epoxy on this. So you can see just around the edges, those little bricks are sitting a little bit proud. So I've left a lot of sawdust in the centre. So I'm not really left with a lot of choice. I have to do a block that fills this exactly, which is going to be fun, and then epoxy it. So let's do it. It's vaguely a circle, isn't it? It's oak, and I'm hoping to do one way and one the other way. Let's see. Alrighty, so these are 10-inch-ish pieces of oak composite block. It's an old sideboard. Just wanging it on my woodworm screw. All I'm going to do is make it round, and then it's, well, done. Make it round, possibly make it a little bit sandider. Sandider? That's not a word. So yeah, I've got 2 of these to do, and then I'm toying with the idea of putting parquet floor in between the 2, just to get layers on layers on layers on layers. So this ain't going to take very long. I'm not going to make you watch all of it. Let's see. Not bad. Lovely. Alrighty, so I have put that block in there. You see it's pretty accurate. And the void around the outside I'm going to fill with more sawdust. Then I'm going to do a layer of parquet flooring, then the next block, and then we might be thinking about epoxy time. Alrighty, so there's some parquet flooring in the centre, and then we're going to put another oak block on top of that. I'm not worried about these bits that are missing because you won't see. The parquet will come in just for a little bit somewhere in the middle. So yeah, that'll be fun then. Right, I made these 4 little wedges. Hopefully centre that in that bucket. It's either going to work or it's not. So what we're going to do now is mix up some epoxy and pour it in and hope for the best. I reckon about 2 litres will do this job, I think. 2 litres? Yeah, probably. Alrighty, you can see I've now got loads of those little wedges. What I usually do with epoxy is put a bloody great big weight on top of that. But today I'm not going to. I'm going to use the friction and the tension created by these wedges to stop anything in there floating. And we're just going to assume that that is enough wedges. There's nothing like flying by the seat of your pants. So that's what we're going to do. So now I'm going to mix up some black epoxy, about 2 litres of it, and chuck it in there and then wang it in that pressure pot, and we will be done. Patent pending stirry stick with a drill. It's a screw with a drone propeller on the end. Fantastic. And here we have the blackest substance known to man. It's Alumilite black dye. You don't need a lot of this, but I'm going to use a lot of it because I want it super black. 1 to 20 drops. I'm going to use about 5 drops per pot, I think. Here we go. No ceremony whatsoever. Chuck it in there. That's 450 ml. $900 ml. $1,350 ml. And 1.8 litres. Now there's a lot of air at the bottom of this blank that's going to want to come out. So what I'm going to do now is leave that for half an hour while I build a little table for this pressure pot to sit perfectly level. And then we're going to put 80 psi in here. And that, my friends, is going to do the trick. It's going to push all of that down into places you would not believe that epoxy can get, all the way through that sawdust, all the way into that mosaic at the bottom, and fill every single void. And if I've put too much resin in here, oh well, it'll have a nice black resin base, won't it? I'd rather have too much than too little. This is supposed to be perfection. Or as close to perfection as this old boy can get, eh? Well, that looks fun, doesn't it? It's as level as I can get it. So say goodbye, folks, and we'll see you, Mr. Cake Stand, in about 7 days. It's cold here in England, and I'm not trusting that for 2 days, not even 4 days. That's going to stay in there for 7 days under pressure. And then all will be well. Just before I go, please do not copy this pressure reading and try and get your pressure pot to 80 psi. It will explode, it may hurt you a lot. I'm not saying you're going to die, and I'm not saying it's not possible, but this pressure pot is a unit, God knows how old it is, and it's got 11 enormous clamps and not 4 tiny little ones. It's built for the job. Please don't try and do 80 psi on your resin jobs unless you've got one of these pressure pots. Thank you.